Ready?
Yeah.
All right, so for our group, I'm presenting today. My name is Joey, and then we have
Corey.
So basically, I'm going to do the before the event, like leading up to it, and then Corey's going to take over about whatever's going to happen at the event. So for the basics, kind of what we did was we also wanted to invite local high school coaches and teachers, possibly students as well, if they have interest. Kind of the same idea, if they have a sports business club of their own, or if coaches might be looking for young college students who want to coach or do things like that. It'll get a lot of them involved, and then those students who are interested as well. I think, like we've all said, that NKU kind of gets brushed under the radar, so we'd like to network out to them as well. We want this event to be where students can show off their talents and their abilities in networking with professionals. Obviously, it'll be at the rec center, the date, and all that stuff. And why we think that is because I think a lot of our NKU students have the abilities that every other college does. We just don't get the recognition, so if we can get them out to as many people as possible, it'll just enhance their ability to find a job. So we also were thinking that the max number of people would be about 250 to 300. And how we wanted to reach them was flyers around campus, social media, but we didn't want to just use the sports business social media. We wanted to reach out to the marketing Twitter page because they have a really good Twitter and Instagram page. If the College of Business has I know a lot of the colleges have their own Twitters and things like that. Basically any Twitter that would reach out to the students we're looking for, or Instagram or things like that, since we don't have some of those outlets, we'd want to utilize. And then also the N3, I know it goes out to every student, so it's like when you throw a bunch of darts, one's going to hit. So that's what we wanted to do as well. And one of the big things we changed up, it's kind of like the passport, but we wanted to give each student a stack of like 10 blank business cards where they can put their name and email on it. And then when they go to a professional, if they are interested, let's say I go up to the Reds and they have an internship opportunity and I am interested in that, I would give that professional my card with my name and email on it. And then if that professional felt like I was a good fit for that, there would be jars set up or bowls, something along those lines, where they would put your card in their designated bowl so that we know which professional is actually interested. Because the only thing we didn't want to do is for the event to stop when the event stops, or I mean the networking to stop, because you can go up and talk to everyone, but you don't necessarily know afterwards if they're interested or even if they would remember you. So if you had that jar, we could go through the jars, or the Sports Business Club could go through the jars and say, okay, these 6 people were liked by the Reds, so we'll email out to them and say, here's the Reds' contact information, they'll follow up you from here. That was our big idea. And then for RSVPing, we were going to use Doodle Poll. It's a lot, I'm assuming it's a lot like Evite or whatever that other one is. Basically, you just click through the link, you say if you're going to RSVP or not, and then we get an email back and a list of everyone who does RSVP, and then it'll also follow up with them at the end of the event, or right before the event, whenever you want. So it's kind of the same program. NKU uses it a lot with some of the organizations that I'm involved in. We also thought of changing the name a little bit, the Norris Networking event, just because it's not dealing with basketball anymore. I thought this kind of gave it more of a professional look. It's not because Fast Break isn't professional, but sometimes it makes me think of just that speed dating and basketball type of thing. So we were going to go with the Norris Networking event. This is just a mock-up of what maybe the flyers or the invitation could look like. Obviously, it was some work done to it, but I just wanted to show off the name of what it would look like if we changed it. Our calendar, so for like the 18th, we would decide on a location. We were also thinking of adding the additional rooms onto it just as a contingency in case it does rain or it's really windy or it's cold, or if we don't want to have the food outside because bugs and things like that. So you always want to have that contingency. And then decide on the food and beverages. We'll get to that in a minute. One thing else is, I know for parking, I work for parking services, that if you're an off-campus event, you would have to pay to get your parking, but if you're a student organization, they will lot off and not ticket in a certain area for free. So if you just talked to them, you could get, even since it's so close to 6 o'clock, they would easily, because we would lot off areas all the time for concerts and things like that if it was an on-campus event. So you can just talk to them and most likely it would be free. And then when it comes to March, we would decide on activities that we wanted to do with the bowls, things like that, getting those things set up. Decide on just the layout and location of how we want to set up the whole area, finalize the invitations, and then send out the invitations. All of that stuff is very nicely made calendar. And then during the event is where Corey's going to take the board.
Okay. We did plan on, we said 250 to 300 people. So when we were thinking about budget, we went ahead and thought big. We went with the 300. So with that, we allotted a large portion of it for food, with up to $1,500, which would be at $5 a person if all 300 would actually come through. choices with having just the chips and pretzels. The actual Chartwell is the least amount that you can have for any one person is, I think it's a $3.29 for the basic chip pretzel popcorn package that they have. And then lemonade seems to be the absolute cheapest way. It's about 60 cents per serving. So we're still looking at about $4 a serving at the absolute least for each person. Decorations, I'll get into in a minute, and then the overall game plan. Okay, so the food here, just to give you an idea, like $4, like I said, was just something very basic, and it's kind of a joke around campus. I've heard that it's like, oh, I guess we're getting the chips and lemonade tonight. I heard that last night. I was over at Student Union. So I thought if we could actually up the budget to going from $1 extra a person, to me just seems to really enhance the event itself as far as what we would have there. As far as just the fruit and juice platter, it just seems to raise up the event a little bit with how it appears. As far as decorations, I think that balloons are the absolute best way to just to brighten a room, to get people's attention. So, and they're a really cheap way to decorate. So I thought we want to have a lot of signage when you first come into the rec center, some kind of maybe an easel board with balloons there, and then we originally want to do the event on the patio. That's our first choice, is to do it on the patio because it has the open area, and then it has the a covered area on the side for weather. But again, weather is the contingency, so we would have Studio 2 upstairs. Also, we would have that reserved in case there would be bad weather. So again, lots of balloons, and just to make it really fun, and just to bring people's attention to, and kind of to help them to know where to go. At Chartwell also, with the package that includes tablecloths, and also the plates, napkins, whatever, and that's all included. And they would do several stations. They told me they would do up to like 5 different areas if we wanted to split everything up. And we talked about, again, this in the very, when people come in, we wanted to have a table in the very area where they would just, when they actually kind of do a check-in type of thing also in there, we would give them their stack of cards. And we thought that was like the key thing here to making sure that the students and the people that were there, because that's the most important part, is the networking part. We want them to have fun, but the actual networking part of them being with the people is the most important part of the event. And with that, the giveaways, we talked about having, during the event, we were going to say to somebody, have like, actually post the best picture on social media, and then when they did, then we would choose with that, and also having awards like, the best dressed, most prepared, that type of thing, and also that would deal with the budget and where we could actually get money to get those types of prizes.
Yeah, and like going off of the social media posts and stuff like that is, if we have a bunch of those pictures out there, that leads us to have stuff for next year, especially because if you have, we start an Instagram like the other group said, and we have all those pictures to pull from, we can blow up a brand new Instagram immediately with whatever we hashtag it, whatever the name of the event is or whatever we want to do. And then with that, we can also just start taking pictures so we can have that. So next year, we're going to be reached out to more people are going to know it, because within KU, it's very tight-knit. Everyone's following everyone. So if everyone's just saying hashtag, Norris Networking, people are going to realize in the next year, they're going to say, wow, my buddy got a job at this event. I want to go. And it's going to just keep blowing up, because social media is, it's the new form of news, and it's the best way to get that out to everybody. And that's our presentation. Questions? None?
I have questions. First of all, once again, bring up the high school thing. So that's kind of another theme that's emerging. That might be a good idea to pursue. I like your idea of going through other social media chains, like the marketing and College of Business versus just sports business. The blank business cards is clever. I think there's something there between that and the passport. I mean, there's definitely something clever there to do to get the students networking and really making sure that they're polished. You're the first group that actually thought about changing the name of the event, and so that is something I'm very open to. That does not, you're right, I mean, it's not basketball only, so whatever that might become. I think that's an excellent idea. And I like that you know a little bit about parking, because that helps to know that maybe we have a way out of charging. And obviously you guys have thought a lot about the food. So that's very important in terms of budget and what we're gonna do there. So thank you for doing that homework, because that might be what I assign you guys to do next. So, yeah, you touched on a lot of important aspects, so, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, thanks.